Hello, and welcome to Sweet Dreams Wellness. This is Barbara Tuckett. I am the owner of Sweet Dreams Travel. I am a wellness travel specialist, and I believe that our mind, body, and spirit all play into our well-being. I help create travel experiences which improve our wellness so that you can return from your vacation with more health, more happiness, and more connection. This is being recorded as a YouTube video and a podcast, episode number 11, and the title is Just Back from Jamaica. And it is me that is just back from Jamaica, and I would love to share with you today my experience, because here we are in the middle of a pandemic, still continuing pandemic, and yes, I just got back from traveling to Jamaica. So I'm super excited to share it with you. And it was awesome, by the way, just have to say. It was completely great. So, but I also am really happy to share this with you because I'm going to share the good, the bad, and everything in between. So I really want you to be able to see and hear about and really understand my experience so that you can kind of, you know, learn from somebody who's just been there. So it really was an awesome trip, and I'm excited to start sharing it with you. I will be sharing info specific to Jamaica, of course, because that's where I just traveled to, but also many other countries also have similar requirements, travel requirements and safety requirements and things like that. So a lot of the stuff that I'm sharing could work for travel anywhere. So it doesn't really matter where you're going. So let's get started. Before traveling, the Jamaica requirements are that I have that I needed to have a negative COVID-19 test within 10 days. So in Jamaica, they require 10 days prior to your travel. Other countries require less than 10 days. A lot of them do, many of them do. So just be aware that a country that you're going to may require within 72 hours or something, a little shorter window than what Jamaica does. So I really didn't know how to get a COVID test. I haven't ever been tested for COVID previously, prior to this travel experience. So I went online, I did a search for Utah COVID testing near me because I live in Utah. And what I was looking for with the results was a place with no referral required. I didn't want to have to get a primary care referring, anything like that. I don't really have a primary care doctor per se, other than my OB. And anyway, and so I wasn't really interested in going that route. So I was looking for a place with no referral required and that included testing for all patients. Since I didn't think I had COVID, I just wanted to get the test. So I found a place close to my house, not a problem. Made an appointment. I was required to make an appointment, so I called the appointment desk to make an appointment, and they set up a video chat with one of their doctors. So we chatted later that day. I told him I was just traveling outside the country and needed a negative COVID test. He ordered it and gave me the instructions. All I had to do was drive over to the clinic between the hours that the testing was open, and they were open until like 8 or 9 o'clock at night. So it wasn't anything that I had to do super fast. Drove over to the clinic, parked between the COVID cones that were set up, called the hotline. The medical person came out within a few minutes and did the nasal swab on me, and my husband was going with me, and so he got the test at the same time. Did the nasal swab, and she told us that if we wanted to wait for about 20 minutes, we would have the test back immediately. So of course we opted to do that. We didn't want to have to get the results sent to us or worry about getting them in another way. And so we waited around, got the test right then within 20 minutes, and they were negative, and off we went. So at that point, we were ready to just head back home and fill out the rest of our forms online and certify that we had the negative test and move on and be ready to travel. So it was way, way easier to get the COVID test than I thought. This is a subject for another day, obviously, another podcast, but there are, for example, airports, there are airlines, there are places that previously we would never have thought of that are actually starting to offer COVID tests. So it's becoming more and more common and easier as we start to, get used to our new normal. So moving on, let's talk about the flights. I included, if you are watching the video, I included a picture from the amazing new Salt Lake Airport. They have been redoing the Salt Lake Airport, and because of COVID, because things were closed down for so long, they were able to really speed up the schedule and get things done a lot quicker than they had planned. And it is gorgeous. If you have a chance to fly into Salt Lake or fly out of Salt Lake or connect through Salt Lake, oh, you're in for a treat. So anyway, I included a picture just because it's so amazing. I flew on Delta. Delta, I love that they are still blocking the middle seats. Not all airlines are doing that, and so I really appreciate that they are. However, all airlines are requiring masks. They are filtering your airflow. The entire cabin's airflow is filtered every 2 to 4 minutes. Everyone sanitizes between passengers. They're really doing a good job of making things, clean and healthy and sanitized for us. On longer flights, through Delta, we were given a small water bottle and 2 snacks. They were a couple of our snacks. We got some Cheez-Its and the biscotti cookies that Delta offers, which are so yummy. And one of them, we got a couple of Kind bars, granola bars. So not too much in terms of what they were giving out, but you are allowed to bring anything you want as far as food goes, any type of food on board with you, and non-alcoholic beverages, and so you really can bring whatever you want on board with you as far as eating. So at the Atlanta airport, we connected through the Atlanta airport both ways, and as you may know, if you have flown through Atlanta, they have terminals A through F. They're a huge airport. And we flew into A from Salt Lake City, and then we had to connect out of F. And so we had to, take the train down to go out of F. What we found out when we got to F is that most shops and restaurants were closed. There just really wasn't much of anything open in that international terminal, which is F. So be aware, now you're aware if you go through Atlanta and you are going international, that Terminal F, don't wait till you get there to find something to eat. I would eat in really A, B, C, or D, because E and F are both pretty minimal for what they have open. So we went back to D and found something to eat there, but most restaurants are open throughout the rest of the terminals, but E and F, which are the international ones, not so much. So just be aware for closed shops and restaurants. Your favorite ones may or may not be open. Here is a pro tip for the flight home. I'm going to skip ahead to the flight home. If you have a connecting flight home from an international airport, you will need to recheck your bags and go through customs in the first city that you arrive in, on your way back to the States. Please make sure that you leave plenty of time on that connecting flight so that you can go through customs, so that you can recheck your bags, and that you're not all stressed about that, because we had plenty of time. We didn't have any problems at all, but just make sure you don't want a short connecting flight if you've got that on the way back from an international destination. All right, to arrive in Jamaica. Once we arrived in Jamaica, of course, you have to go through customs. That is a normal thing. An additional thing that they have added is a health screening. Everyone has to go through a health screening, and just be aware and be, I don't know, careful, I guess. Know that there will possibly be some pretty good wait times because you're going through a health screening, they have several medical professionals there to help do the health screening, but it just takes a while to get everybody through. If you are going to Jamaica, there is something called Club Mo Bay, which I can tell you about, if you would like more information about that, but that's a really good way to get shorter wait times and better service. So that's a good thing. Your entire group is screened at the same time. So if you're traveling with your whole family, they would all go, to the same medical professional to be screened. In our case, my husband and myself were, called at the same time to go. They check your temperature, they ask you the relevant medical questions about your symptoms, about being in contact with people with COVID, that type of thing. And they do a pretty extensive document check. So you need to make sure that you have gotten your negative COVID results and that they're exactly what they need to be, and then also have filled out the paperwork online and printed that. So that was Arrival in Jamaica. It's a little more extensive than what it has been in the past. Transportation to the resort was our next step. We still were wearing masks at this point in our trip, just because it's a long flight from Salt Lake City to Jamaica, including time at the airport. We had been in our masks for about 12 hours straight. Yes, we were sick of them by then, but there was no help for it. We weren't going to get out of our masks anytime soon. So everywhere, everyone was masked, and we were too. We had a bus ride to the resort. We stayed at a resort in Ocho Rios, which is almost a 2-hour bus ride from the airport. If, I guess just in the spirit of full disclosure, I did not make my transportation arrangements. The resort where I was staying, since I was going as a travel advisor, I had been invited by them to come, and the resort where I was staying had made the travel arrangements. If I had made them, I would have rather have gone in a van, just because I feel like that's more comfortable. However, we were in a motor coach bus. There were maybe total 7 or 8 people on the bus, so it's not like it was crowded, but it just wasn't as comfortable as maybe a different form of transportation. So just word to the wise, it just wasn't super comfortable, but we were on our way and we were in Jamaica. The place where we stayed was called the Moon Palace, Jamaica. Like I said, it's located in Ocho Rios, great location on the beach. The first thing you will notice if you arrive at the Moon Palace, Jamaica, is the super, super friendly, amazing, wonderful people. They are just so excited to have visitors and people come and stay with them. They're super glad to see you there. There's a sanitizing mat for your feet right as you walk in, and your luggage is sanitized before it's delivered to your room. They give you some hand sanitizer, and they give you a sanitizing wipe for your phone. So everything feels very clean and healthy as you walk into the resort. At the check-in counter, there is a place for sanitized pens and used pens so that they don't get double used. Masks are required everywhere. I have to admit, I was expecting that masks would be required everywhere inside, but then the restrictions would lift once you were outside. So I was a little surprised when the agent at the check-in desk said that we were required to wear masks everywhere on the resort, inside or outside. The exceptions, of course, were eating or when we were in the water. So just a word to the wise, it may be a little more mask specific, mask required than what you might think, because that's what happened with me. We were on the 15th floor, and my room was absolutely gorgeous. I had to open the tape to get into my room, which showed that the room had been thoroughly sanitized before I got there. They have a policy right now because of the pandemic that there's no luggage delivery unless the guest is in the room. So they will not enter the room and deliver your luggage unless you are there, which I think is a really great precaution. So let me tell you a little bit about the Moon Palace, Jamaica. It's a gorgeous, beautiful, all-inclusive beachfront resort. It is surrounded on 3 sides by the Caribbean Sea. It's kind of out on this little point so that there is ocean on 3 sides. And so almost everywhere you look, you are just surrounded by this amazing white sand beach and beautiful turquoise water. Oh, it's just clear and beautiful. At the resort, there are 2 gorgeous white sand beach areas. One is more for relaxing and just hanging out and being on the beach. The other one is where the non-motorized water sports are located. The non-motorized water sports include paddleboarding, kayaking, sea trikes, things like that. There is a place also for motorized water sports, the boating, the jet skis, the windsurfing, a whole bunch of different activities like that. There are 5 pools there. They have a Flowrider, which is a surf simulator, a kids pool, a water slide. It's not a huge water slide system, so don't go expecting like a huge water park, but there is a water slide. There are plunge pools, 2 jacuzzi hot tubs, and waterfalls. It's really a beautiful pool system. And there are 2 tennis courts. There's a huge spa, fitness center, and there's nightly entertainment and daytime entertainment. You know, the people out by the pool that are really encouraging you to have fun and do different activities. So there's a lot to do, or there's like nothing to do if you just want to relax. So either way, whatever type of vacation you want, you could definitely have it at the Moon Palace. Let's talk about rooms for a minute. My personal room was a Superior Deluxe ocean view room. They have a really nice balcony and they have beautiful ocean view rooms. Gorgeous room, really, really nice. Other room categories, there's a Deluxe Resort View room, and this one is the lowest category. The one that I saw gave a view of the ocean. Like I said, they are surrounded on 3 sides by ocean, so there was a view of the ocean, but it also had a view of the parking lot, which is why they call it Resort View. And they had what they call a French balcony, which is not a full balcony, it's just French doors that open up, sliding French doors that open up onto a railed in, totally mini balcony. You can't even step out on it. It's just French doors that open up to the outside. A pro tip, if you are going soon to the Moon Palace, right now because of restrictions on occupancy, they're only allowed to sell 50% of occupancy at the resorts in Jamaica. And so if you went now and you booked a Deluxe Resort View room, even though that's the lowest category, you would not get a Deluxe Resort View room. You would get an upgraded category because the building where the Resort View rooms are located is currently closed because of the occupancy restrictions. So that's a pro tip. If you go soon, you'll get a better room than you paid for. The next step up is a Deluxe Ocean View room. All of the rooms include 24-hour room service, nightly turn-down service. The Deluxe Ocean View room also has a French balcony like the Resort View room. And of course, they have a beautiful ocean view on this Deluxe Ocean View room. A Superior Honeymoon room is really nice. If you were going for a honeymoon or a destination wedding, which I'm not really going to spend time talking about this, but there are some great locations on site for destination weddings. There's just some beautiful gazebos and ocean views and just amazing places. Anyway, back to the Superior Honeymoon room. If you book this room, you get included 2 25-minute massages. So you get pedicures, you get a private dinner, upgraded liquors, a private beach lounge chair, a couple of private beach lounge chairs with waiters, a private check-in and check-out, and if it's available, you get early check-in as well. So there's really a lot included with the Superior Honeymoon room. There's a walkout suite, which has a double whirlpool tub, a walkout balcony with a hammock and a seating area. And then plus you still get the petit-fours and the turn down service and everything that's included with the regular rooms. So those walkout suites are really, really nice. A junior suite is a larger room and they include all of the same amenities as the walkout suite. They're just not on the ground floor with the walkout. The governor's suite has all the amenities that I've mentioned so far, other than not the massage and things like that that go with the honeymoon, but the regular amenities. The governor's suite is basically the Moon Palace's 1-bedroom suite. So it's a separate bedroom from the living room area and really nice. The family deluxe suite is 2 connecting rooms. One has a king bed, the other has 2 double beds. This one you get welcome amenities for families. There's an Xbox 360 with a selection of games included. There's a Fun in the Sun kit that comes included, a child's room service menu, purified water, a laptop size safe rather than a smaller one, a liquor dispenser in addition to their regular mini bar, and kid-friendly snacks. So these rooms, the family deluxe suite, can be either garden view or ocean view rooms. Then the next step up is a 2-bedroom presidential suite. The 2-bedroom presidential suite is gorgeous. They have 1.5 baths. So they have basically 2 separate bathrooms. One of them's a half bath and the other one's a full. They've got 2 bedrooms, a terrace, a dining room with a huge, gorgeous dining table, and they have all the upgraded amenities. So this 2-bedroom presidential suite is incredible. It's really amazing. So those are the rooms. As far as restaurants go, there are 3 a la carte restaurants, which are the sit-down restaurants. There's also a huge buffet restaurant and some other smaller eating places. For the a la carte, the 3 that you have choices for are an Italian restaurant, an Asian one. The Asian can be either teppanyaki style or it just has like sushi and other Japanese choices. And then the 3rd a la carte restaurant is a steakhouse. The only restaurant that requires reservations is if you choose to do the teppanyaki style, you do need to make reservations for that so that they know when you're coming and how big your party is. In addition to those restaurants, there's a jerk shack. There's a place that is open 24 hours that serves coffee and crepes, sandwiches, sushi, and ice cream. So a whole bunch of, really wide variety of choices. And that one's open 24 hours. I mentioned that there's a buffet. It's huge. It has amazing choices for breakfast and lunch. They're not open for dinner currently. But the way that they're working the buffet, which I think this is great, is that they've got all of the buffet choices available and out, just like a regular buffet, but then the wait staff is behind there to serve what you would like. So you just ask for it and they hand you a plate with your items on it. So it works really great. I'm sorry, my dog is making a lot of noise in the background, so you're just gonna have to deal with him. Sorry about that. All right. So as far as what I did, my on-site activities at the resort, besides just enjoying the pools and the beaches and the amenities, the restaurants and everything at the resort, I did stand-up paddleboarding. Stand-up paddleboarding, I sat on it, I knelt on it, and I stood up. The nice thing is it's in a little bay area and it's a little bit enclosed. And so it makes really nice, hardly any waves at all for standing up. If you go further out, then yes, you get into bigger waves and you may not be so comfortable standing up, but it's not terribly hard to balance if you stay within a little bit closer to shore. I also did the Flowrider. Now, I had never done the Flowrider before. I was pretty sure actually going into it that I may not be able to even do it. But the really, really great thing about going this time of year, right now, and kind of in the middle of a pandemic still, is that because there's not very many people there, the Flowrider instructor had pretty much all the time in the world to instruct. And I did not feel rushed. I did not feel like everybody was standing in line to watch me or to judge or anything, or were rushed to wait to have their turn. And it worked out awesome. So that's another pro tip, another reason to maybe travel sooner rather than later. Don't wait till all the big crowds get there, because you have a little more individualized time to do the activities that you want to do. Another thing that I did was got a spa treatment. You know, I'm all about wellness, and I could not leave. They have a gorgeous, amazing spa at the Moon Palace, and I could not leave without experiencing a massage. So I got a massage, experienced their hydrotherapy, um, I don't know what to call it. That's available there with the massage treatments, and it was great. Now off-site, I just did one excursion. I did what's called Dunn's River Falls. Now, if you have ever been to Jamaica, you have probably heard of Dunn's River Falls. If you have never been to Jamaica, this is definite must-do once you go. I would completely recommend it. It's these amazing falls, 180 feet high, 600 feet long, so they're incredible. But it's not all just one huge cascading waterfall, like kind of like I imagined it to be. It's a river flowing over these big boulders all the way down. Yes, there are places where there are waterfall areas and places where there are just pools of water. And you go with a guide, and the guide shows you every step of the way, where to go, how to go. They help you through spaces. You do have to wear water shoes. However, if you don't have water shoes, they have shops there and vendors, and you can buy some water shoes before you go. So not a problem if you forget your water shoes or don't have any, but I would completely recommend Dunn's River Falls. It is such a great experience. They completely sanitize and social distance and are following all of the regulations there, even off-site at Dunn's River Falls. There were little spots painted on the asphalt as you were walking and getting closer to over to, you know, where you actually started the excursion, where you had to wait. So you were 6 feet behind the next person in line. I think I sanitized more at Dunn's River Falls with the hand sanitizer that they required you to put on every so often, not during the falls, but leading up to it during the instruction period and everything. I sanitized more there than you know, in a normal 10 or 15 minute period of time ever in my life. So it felt completely safe. It felt very protected and healthy and everything to go there. I did not feel unsafe by going off site. So Dunn's River Falls, a definite must do. All right, we're getting to the end here. I just want to give you my final takeaways. Am I glad I went? Absolutely, 100% glad I went. Would I travel to other international destinations right now? Yeah, mon, like they say in Jamaica. Absolutely. It was so amazing to get away. It was so great to experience relaxation and adventure and just that fun of traveling away from home. It was really, really wonderful. The worst part, I am not going to lie, the worst part was masking the entire time. Absolute. I wished so bad that I did not have to mask the whole time. It was hard to mask all of those hours on the plane, getting there, and then on the bus, and even getting to the resort. The only place I could take off my mask was in the room or in the water right by the pools or the beach, and when we were eating. So really, I wore more masks during that 3-ish day trip than I've ever worn in a single 3-day period in my entire life. So way too much masking, but it's required, it's healthy, it's safe, it's how we are going to be able to travel right now. So I can't begrudge it for that. So that was the worst part. The best part was just being able to travel and get away. It was awesome. So my recommendation, if you have the inclination, if you have the help, go somewhere, travel, do it. I invite you to connect with me on Facebook and Instagram. I'm at Sweet Dreams Travel. That's SUITE. On Twitter, it's Sweet Dreams Trav without the EL at the end. And obviously, if you're hearing me now, you are listening to the podcast or you're watching the video. Feel free to, if you've just done one without the other, feel free to do the other. Because I would love to have you share. I would love to have you listen or watch or whatever it is. So thanks for joining me here on the podcast or the video. And it's great to have you along. Happy to have you, and we'll see you next time.